This is season 2, episode 37 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we've got I don't know, what do we even call this matchup? High initiative versus low initiative. We've basically tried our very best.
I mean, it's not quite Aces versus Swarm, but it's close. Despite promising that I would fly a different faction this week, XWA dropped a little points tweak. And something that caught my eye was a 5-point Fen Rao in the Fang Fighter. So I was like, okay, yeah,
I can see that working quite nicely.
I'm going to put that on the table. He's got 3 points of loadout, so he takes Fearless. Because it's a Fang with Fearless, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought, do you know what? You can get him, and you can get Han in the Falcon for 5 points. That's 2 6-point ships for 10 points. And I continued that train of thought. I was like, well, then we could throw in Dengar. And then I had a look through. I got 4 points left. I was like, I could have a look through the 4-pointers, and if I was flying this, attempting to fly it competitively, I think I would have brought someone like Talonbane.
Yeah, I was thinking no Talonbane. Because when I saw Zuvio, I just assumed that he must be 3 points, and therefore there's a 7 somewhere or something.
No, I just wanted to fly something a bit more fun, so I brought Zuvio in the tug. So, as I've said, Fen has Fearless. Han is kitted out for the self-double modding with Trickshot, IG-88D, Lando Crew, Overtune Modulators, and the title. Dengar has Notorious Greedo, Contraband, Punishing 1, and R5P8. And Zuvio has Composure, Pattern Analyzer, both Concussion Bombs and Proximity Mines, and Contraband Cybernetics.
Quite a nice little loadout on that boy.
Yeah, he's got like 23, 24 loadout.
So, on the flip side, I've brought my good old Tin Nationals Droid Swarm because it was basically unaffected in the points update. So I thought, hey, it won me an event. Let's see if I can take it further. So what that entails is 2 Geonosian prototypes. One has energy shells and Kraken and the stabilizers. The other has energy shells and synced laser cannons and stabilizers. I have 5 Vulture droids, all with energy shells and grappling struts, and that's DFS 311, 2 Howard Child prototypes, and 2 Trade Federation drones. And then I have Cad Bane in the Rogue with proton cannons, the engine upgrade, Xanadu Blood title, and probe droids.
Yes.
So 8 glorious ships.
It's a nasty list. We are playing Scramble.
Scramble. We're playing Scramble.
And your first player for this turn, and it's interesting turn 0.
Yeah, so I slap the objective as far on your side as possible, basically as close to the middle as I can eyeball it. Because my thought is, Zuvio will go slow, claim it, but generally your list kind of wants to fly past it. It's like you got 2 well, I guess Dengar doesn't want to battleship, but he kind of wants to roam around, and you don't really want to be running around and coming back home. So I thought, well, I got Vultures, I got Cad, I can happily go and sneak a back point.
Now, I was all for chucking it in the standard as far up as you can, but when you did that, I was like, now hang on a second. If I do the same thing, but in a corner, then either you go slow, which gives me more time to get in position, or I don't. You leave something behind, which means I face off against at least 1 less shell.
Yes.
And that's a win for me. My job here is honestly probably trade range 3 shots with 1 ship at a time.
Yes, I think that is true.
So yeah, I put it, as I'm looking at it, in the top left corner as far as it'll go, basically.
Basically, your 10 o'clock and my 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Rocks. We both have large obstacles.
Yeah. Well, I knew you'd bring the Pride of Mandalores, because you always do. And I have Trick Shot, so I wanted as much.
Yeah. And I basically played spread the rocks as far as possible, because I know that Hand wants to Trick Shot, ideally. So I was like, let's just make it awkward for so he can't just line up a million trick shots with 1 rock.
See, I was
Like, I can't stop you from putting your rocks wherever you like, but I can at least make it so that the center is relatively clear.
But I was kind of okay with that because what it's done is left lots of lanes that he can go through as well. So
Yes.
I was kind of alright with that. It's not excluding my 2 large bases from the center of the board.
Yeah. So my thought was, if I just give you the trick shots, you'll just blap vultures one by one. If I make you have to work for it, and I basically sacrificed the ability to sit on rocks near objectives, and I think that's fine because all that really does on your list is give you targets for Fen.
Yeah, that's fair.
But essentially, each corner basically has a rock. I've placed one roughly near the center just to try and prevent you from blocking off my swarm from coming into the middle. Because we had, the typical anti-swarm behavior where you put it down the line. I was like, let's try and head that off. And then along my board edge, there's another rock in the center, so I can't just easily turn in.
Yeah, I snuck that one in there literally so you can't just turn into the center and come down that way.
Fool you! I do exactly that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sort of. You don't, not entirely. You kind of come around, but yeah.
So my setup is very, very simple. All of my droids, basically, I set up like in 4 like pairs, facing along my board edge to the right because I'm going to go fast along my board edge, turn in on turn 2, claim that objective that Sean has put, and then work my way into the center, depending on where you'll go. The final pairing is Cad facing up towards your board edge because he wants to go and launch a probe droid and then hopefully just be annoying and distract you.
Yeah. So I set up Zuvio just to the right of the objective on my side. He'll one straight, claim it. Han goes just to the right of him, basically so he can come up towards the rock that's near the center objective, and then he can either left or right, depending on if you try and catch me out by hard turning everyone turn 1, he can disappear left and plink, and if not, he's got gaps to go right. Dengar sets up as far right as he can, basically making sure that if you want to do a proton cannon turn 1, you're going to have to barrel roll and stress yourself for it.
Yep, and I did R about that.
And then, I am an odd whether to 1 straight or 4 straight. And then Fen sets up to the left of the left-hand obstacle in my corner. He's basically going to dally around there, see how fast you go turn 1 and turn 2, and if he can get a flank, he can get a flank. If not, we'll see what he does. But at some point, he's just going to have to yeet in and be Fen. At 5
points... Well, if Fen can jump the range 3 and range 2 into range 1, he's okay against my list.
Like, Fen at 5 with that little loadout, I think it's just a trade piece.
Yeah.
Except you're going to die at some point, but if you can take 5 points or more, and more importantly, something critical, bonus. Okay.
Turn 1.
Let's jump into
I execute my plan. So I do heck up. Basically, I tell Sean what I'm doing, and then I go down the line trying to do my things, and because they haven't actually been set up in the right order, I do bump, and Sean graciously lets me take it back because I was basically like, can I just undo this and do it in the right order? I just sort of autopiloted down the line.
Yeah, it's like they were all I want.
I did explain what they were all doing. So everyone 5 straights and calculates except for Cad. I lose priority, and this is the last time you'll ever say me say that in this game.
We only overlap on the 4s. Zuvio does a 1 straight and focuses.
Cad does a 2 straight and cloaks. And this is me being a little too cautious, I think. I think I should have 3 straighted, because I knew what I wanted to do from the get-go. And I have inadvertently misjudged how far I can get with this ability, with my ship. But it is okay. I know what Cad is about to try and do. I just need to try and do it as safely as possible.
Yeah. Dengar just does a I can't remember what I did with him. A full straight. I did do the full straight. Because I've just kind of figured, look, if you jump in and proton cannon me, fine. I'll get the double tap on you.
Yeah.
Han does a 1 straight and takes a focus. Double calculate, sorry. And Fen just does a 2 straight and barrel rolls in behind the rock so that he can go cut in because you've gone fast.
So I launch a probe droid with a 3 bank out to the right out of CAD, basically getting ready to set up the locks. And I keep calculates on 3 of my vultures just in case Han does something crazy. Basically, there was that because I'm planning on turning in, and the 3 vultures that will turn in are the ones who are most likely to be getting shot at by Han if Han like really decides, "Ooh, I reckon I'll call Sam's bluff," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know I want to claim that objective, which means one guy at the very least is doing that action.
Yeah. But I was also like, a 1 hard from everyone puts you in range to claim the objective, so.
Yeah. So yeah, I yeet my probe droid, a 2 bank, to the right, trying to get it in range of Han and Dengar, and then I decloak with CAD 2 straight.
Now that I expected. And then what I had planned for was I was expecting a 2 bank. A 2 bank in.
I thought about it.
And line up the proton cannon.
I thought about it a lot, and I was like, it's too predictable. Because I was like, if Dengar 1 banks and Han, like, I don't know, 1 banks or 2 banks, or if Han just goes the other way and says, lol, CAD.
Yeah.
I don't fancy CAD v Dengar in a 1v1.
That's fair.
So yeah, I do have a plan, and also I had eyes on my plan from the get go, and I do eventually accomplish it on around turn 6.
That's fair. I pop over 2 modulators on Han because I know what I've done, and I've got to sneak it because I was expecting a 2 bank. I thought I might need the boost, so
yeah,
at least this way I'm double modded and free to boost if I need it.
So I start hard 2ing my entire swarm. One of the vultures claims my objective, and everyone else basically splits their locks between Han and Dengar, because it turns out both of them are in range of the pro droid. And the only thing that really matters is one of the gunships locks each one, essentially. So no matter what happens, there's always at least a reroll for a gunship down the line.
Yeah.
Then CAD does a 4 straight, and I focus boost straight.
Yeah. Zuvio 1 straights and claims the objective at my bottom edge. The Dengar 1 straights past CAD. I lock into a rotate to shoot him out the side. Han does a 3 bank. I don't need to boost, so I just take a target lock on CAD.
Interesting, the boosting thing, because I do wonder, had I 2 banked, would like you'd have had to rotate, I'd have thought.
Possibly, but I would have had that option.
Yeah.
Looking at that, yeah, I might have had to rotate, but that's fine. Either we bump or I rotate. You know, the calculates give me the double mod, so I have the options. And then Fen just does a 1 hard because I don't want to face off against a swarm just with Fen, and I boost because you've kind of committed CAD to going around that rock.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I can finish CAD off. Or go 1-on-1 with CAD, should I say? And that's probably in my favour.
Yeah, so I pass a calculate from DFS down to the furthest most left droid, just on the off chance he's in range of Han. I don't think he is, but there's not that great a downside to it. Like, yes, I keep 1 less calculate going into the next round, but I would rather the off chance I can get a sneaky good shot.
Yeah.
If it just does tip in range 3.
Yeah. Fen has no shot. So we go to Han, who has the range 1 shot. You are stressed, so I get the extra dice, so it's 4 on 2. I roll hit, crit, blank, focus. I spend 1 calculate to re-roll the blank into a blank, and I spend a 2nd for hit, crit.
I roll blank evade, so that's shields down on CAD.
And then range 1 out the side from Dengar, who rolls hit, focus, because you always do when you take a lock. It's the classic. I re-roll and convert to hit, and then Greedo for a crit. So hit, crit. Hit, crit.
I roll focus evade, so I take the crit, and that is a hull breach.
Did you? I thought you spent your focus on that. No, it is that one. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I spent the focus on the first one to get the evade.
Cool. Yeah, whole
which is why I only
breach.
lost the shields.
And that's it.
And then there's no more shooting.
Yeah.
And then I accidentally undo a move on my vulture. I'm like, wait a second. So I do keep a couple of calculates. I have awkwardly left a vulture in a bit of an awkward spot. I eye it up a lot, and I reckon because he's sat in front of a rock, and I'm like, a 2 straight might just land me on this rock, so we'll go for it.
See, it's interesting because I was looking from the other side, thinking to 2 straight doesn't land. I was expecting a 1 hard.
I was going to 1 hard, and I was like, then he's just out of position. Like, I would rather risk landing on the rock than be completely out of position when there's the 2 I6s rolling around.
That's fair.
Because a 1 hard to the left definitely doesn't land on the rock. Yeah. And like that would be the way to face you. And 1 hard to the right would, and then I'm facing up the board in a bit of an awkward spot.
Yeah, that's fair. Although the other flip side, because you've got the calculate, is a 1k.
Yeah, I did also think about the 1k, but that's again in the awkward spot of then I'm facing backwards.
It is, but at least you only have 1 turn to turn the 90 degrees you need to. But yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I just looked at it like, you know what? It might land, so I'll try it. Because I wasn't sure what Zuvio and Fen would do, so I wanted to have all my guns pointing that way.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to the next round.
I bank the probe droid up towards Fen and Zuvio. I do 2 straight over the rock, and I do clear it by quite a way. I take 2 damage, not the end of the world. DFS does a 3 straight onto a rock. Pink Howard Child does a 3 straight onto a rock. And then the last 2 vultures, 2 bank to the left and barrel roll to the right and calculate, basically eyeing up to go into the center. My Kraken carrier gunship does a 2 bank to the left and calculates, and my other Geonosian does a 3 straight and calculates. So I'm basically moving towards the center of the board. Then, because I'm first player, CAD does a 1 bank to the right, and I focus barrel roll to the left.
Yeah.
And backwards. Basically trying to avoid the Fen shot that I'm pretty sure is coming.
Zuvio does a 2 straight because I was trying to just sneak in to claim the center. I still ummed and ahed about it, but I was looking at like 3 shells there, so I opt to barrel roll to the right. And I think here I should have just gone with my gut instinct, which was too hard towards CAD, and put another gun on him.
Yeah, that is something to be said for that.
If your droids want to chase me, fine. I can just start dropping bombs and mines and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah. But instead of barrel roll to try and get out of arcs. Dengar does a 3 straight. And then he barrel rolls in to try and get arc on blue because blue's suddenly on 1 health. And Han does a 1 straight to ditch his strain, and he takes 2 calculates. Fen does a 3 straight because I wasn't sure if a 4 would put me close enough that I wanted the option to boost if I needed it.
Yeah.
And I thought a 4 would stop that. In hindsight, the 4 would have been better because I could have got a barrel roll in, but it is what it is. And I opt to just focus because I know I'm not getting into range 1. So I have, I think, is it range 3 obstructed?
Yeah. 3 obstructed into CAD from Fen. I don't pass any calculator to DFS, there's just no point.
I roll 2 hits. I opt not to spend the focus on the last dice because I know I'm getting shot back.
I roll 2 focuses and a blank, so I spend my focus for 2 evades.
Dengar has a range 3 shot into blue. I roll 2 hits and Greedo for hit crit.
I roll blank focus, so I spend both my calculates to live.
And then Han has a range 3 into blue, and I so nearly took that shot. And funnily, how the game pays out, if I'd taken that shot, it might have gone a lot different.
Might have gone a lot differently, but
I still think the shot I take is the right shot, but it's just
you say I think it would have gone different, but there are lots of reasons it would have gone different, because had you not taken the shot into CAD may very well have survived the prox mine that he would have taken. Yeah, we'll get there, guys.
But I do take a range 2 shot into the stress CAD, so I have 3 dice. He has no token. I have rerolls that I don't need because I roll hit crit.
And I roll focus blank. So I take 3 crits onto CAD, and it is stunned pilot, blinded pilot, and loose stabilizer.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I really could have done with a double there. But
Yeah.
hey.
Cad shoots into Fen and does nothing. Like, we can skip this shot. It's
And
2 dice against like 7.
I shoot the probe droids and kill the probe droids. And
Get it? Which is a bit of a bummer for me because I was kind of relying on that thing from preventing you from putting out prox mines in my path.
Yeah.
But I do launch out the next probe droid, 3 hard to the right, trying to line it behind Zuvio. Again, with the idea of being, if I can annoy you enough and stop you from dropping prox mines by making it kill the probe droid, that's well worth it at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do keep a couple of calculates, and we're 2-2. But Cad is on 1, and I have a trade fed on 1.
Yeah.
Speaking of said trade fed, I 5 straight into the center of the board, and I barrel roll to the left and link it into a calculate because I was like, maybe Zuvio is coming to the center to claim it. Because remember, guys, at this point, I think Zuvio is 3 points, and so is a worthy sacrifice to maybe just do some claiming.
Now, I have to admit, this caught me out because I was expecting everyone to turn in and just try and get like 1,000,000 shells on one of my large base ships.
I didn't think I'd be able to.
Fair.
Because 2 of my vultures are on the rock, so they can't actually move, and you're just not positioned in a way that you're going to come fast in. The gunships could get to you, but I also have 2 vultures way out to the right, and as fast as they can go, they absolutely can't shoot at your large
I suppose
ships.
the flip side of me, though, is it would just look at setup for the next turn, because I don't really have anywhere to go after that, except towards you.
Yeah, and most of my thinking here was just, I need to get my swarm into the center so I can start basically trying to get you in a corner, because it looks like to me that your large races are going into a corner, so I actually need to get in the center so I have a smaller turning circle.
Yeah.
And if I can get Zuvio on the way, great. So yeah, the vultures all start yeeting. I tried to claim the center with one of my vultures and miss horrendously, which is a shame. But my gunship does manage to do a 3 straight over the top of DFS and claim the center. Both vultures on the rock rotate 90 degrees, just in case you do come in with those big ships. And my Kraken carrier stops.
Yeah.
Just to try and stay out of the way. Cad then does a 2 straight because this turn was basically me and Sean playing the game of what is Fen about to do.
Yeah.
And I thought you would 5k. And I was basically like, I'm sorry, I thought you might 5k, but I was like, so I want to go fast. But if you do a 2 hard or a 2 talon, I'm going to die. So I'm going to go slow in the hopes that you've done the 2 hard and 2 talon, because that way you're better positioned for like the next turn, because the 5k gets you out of the way of the droid swarm, but it also puts you in a bit of an awkward spot with that rock. Like you can go in behind it, but you'll likely be stressed, and then my droid swarm is approaching.
So interestingly,
so I was like, I'm going to gamble that you don't do the 5k.
Yeah. So interestingly,
because that's what I thought was the obvious move.
Yeah. The 2 hard was never an option for me. It would have been a talon, a K, or the 2 bank.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I reverse Zuvio 1 bank back. I wasn't actually expecting to clear. He does sneak in front of Fen. I was assuming he was just going to bump into the back of him, but I was just trying to put his bum where I can drop a prox mine on Cad and kill him. I have pattern analyzer, which is quite nice, so I just take a focus.
Happy little focus.
And then we go to my 6s. I do a 2 bank with Dengar around the debris. I'd actually placed him. I'd barrel rolled in, thinking, "Oh, I'll contraband 3 hard next turn," and then looked at the dial and realised I don't have a 3 hard. So I was like, awkward. Kind of screwed this turn for me a little bit. He takes a focus, and Han 1 banks to ditch one of his strains and double calculates. And then Fen does a 2 talon. I so nearly 5k'd, but I was like, the 5k is the obvious one, and I was just like, what if he goes fast and then just boosts out of it?
Yeah,
like, because you've got to focus into a boost.
I think
right?
also here's the thing. You were thinking about the proc mine. I wasn't thinking about the proc mine because I thought Zuvio was going to try and do a sneaky steal of the center.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Because like I said multiple times, I thought he was a cheaper piece than he is.
Yeah,
and so he's worth throwing away for a couple of points.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also he would eat some shells, which means Fen and your big ships aren't eating shells.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with that side of it, but
Yeah. So that's basically why I did consider the proc miner thing. So to me, it was like, okay, 50-50, what do I think is going to happen? I think the 5k is the obvious play, and I think Sean knows that, which means if he's going to try and he's going to too hard, too talon or something. So if I just go slow, I'm like, maybe I sneakily block the 5k. I didn't think I was gonna, but maybe.
Yeah.
And then I'm sort of like relatively safe.
Yeah.
If you do any of those hard turns.
So we go to engagement, and there's nothing.
I don't pass any calculates, and you start shooting with your 6s.
Yeah, I have a range 3 obstructed shot into the stressed blue, so it's like 4-on-4 from Han. And
I fixed the loose stabilizer with Cat. That's the action I took.
After spending some calculates on rerolls and some calculates on attack, I end up with hit crit.
I roll 4 dice, and in my head, I'm screaming, roll bad, 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 because I need this man to die.
Yeah. I should have clocked that, and I just generally think I shouldn't have shot any of them.
Because I do roll bad. I roll on 4 dice, roll 1 evade, and a focus, and 2 blanks. And I'm like, I spend nothing, I die. And I give Cat Bane an action, and he focus barrels to the left. I lose my bullseye shot into Fen. Like I lose my shot entirely into Fen, but I avoid the prox mine.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, if I've avoided the prox mine, but if I hadn't have killed Blue, then Fen takes a shell.
Yeah, Fen takes a shell.
Like,
and he's not got any focuses. Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. But that's it for shooting, because no one else is in range, so...
I score 2 to your 1, and it's 5-4 to you. This is a very, very non-shooty, cagey game. But in my head, I'm not necessarily win condition, but my going forth has been decided, because your big ships are going around to debris, and are not really going to be in the game with any massive effect for a couple of turns.
The interesting thing is they could have been, but I make a mistake here.
So basically, I turn everyone towards Zuvio and Fen because A, they're both stressed, and B, most of my list can get a shot in their direction. So my rock-based vultures turn 90 degrees to the right, facing towards your board edge, in the hopes that they can then move off the rock next turn and keep up the shooting. My 2 vultures on the right-hand side just do a 2 straight and calculate. My gunship in the center just does a 2 bank. No, it was I think it was a 1 straight actually. In the center, and I just take a target lock onto Zuvio. My Kraken carrier does a 3 straight and target locks Fen. I moved the prox mine directly in front of Zuvio because in case you contrabanded and moved back again, I was like, I want to just annoy you. Like if I do that, you can't put a prox mine out the front to catch my guys incoming.
Yeah.
And I've got the locks at this point, was most of my thinking.
Yeah.
Then Cad does a 1 bank to the right, and I believe I just focus.
No, you don't.
No, I focus barrel to the right because I was trying to block Zuvio's next reverse.
Yeah. So I had dialed in the 1 reverse with Zuvio, and I was going to pop contraband. And because you barrel rolled, I opted not to pop contraband and do a stress maneuver 2 straight. And I shouldn't have. I should have damn well popped contraband and reversed into Cad.
Yeah.
Because now I'm sat in front of...
I wasn't going to get another free move from something dying.
I'm sat now in front of 3 ships, all with shells, all with calculates. I've got no tokens.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think if I'd reversed, I would have taken 1.
Yeah.
I don't think the vultures would have had range.
Yeah. Maybe 1 vulture has range, but we all know what Fen's about to do to him, so...
yeah. Fen 2 banks, I thought about running, but I was just like, at this point, I'm not going to be able to dodge it, so we'll just focus boost in. I do a 2 hard with Dengar, and I lock rotate the red gunship.
Which is the Kraken carrier.
And then I think I just do a 1 straight to come around the debris with Han. I didn't think I'd have a shot, but I take a target lock just to have a quick look, and I am unfortunately out.
And so I'm very happy with this because I'm like, the more turns that your big ships are not doing things is great for me.
So Dengar goes into red. I end up with crit crit.
I roll an evade, so my Kraken carrier loses a shield. I do pass a calculate to him because I was like, maybe I need to spend it on defense and I can still fire a shell later.
Yeah. Fen
No
range 1
dice.
hammers into brown, and with fearless and the focus ends up with 5.
So Brown is dead. I roll 2 blanks anyway. I check range 3 for CAD, but not in range, so no free action. And so I go to CAD, I plink a range 2 shot into Zuvio, and I end up with 2 hits out of hand.
I roll no evades, so I take 2. Zuvio goes range 1 into the yellow gunship.
I check my bullseye on my Trade Federation drone, because for some reason I thought he was a Howard Charl.
I roll a crit.
I roll a blank, so shield on my other gunship, and then my gunships start firing shells into your boys. So I put a shell into Zuvio with my Kraken carrier.
And
I end up with hit crit crit after the rerolls.
Yeah, 2 focuses, so he dies.
Then I put a side shot from my other gunship into Fen.
Before he does that, you trigger CAD and take a target
I do
lock.
trigger CAD and take a target lock onto Fen.
I was a little surprised you took the target lock and didn't repair the blinded pilot, but...
So the only reason I took the lock, because I was like, I've got another gunship shot coming up, I want a second reroll.
That's
and
fair.
At this point, CAD's on 1. I don't care if CAD doesn't shoot the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
He has already got me locks, and he has survived the trap. And now your list is split and mine is not. And so I'm like, if CAD just lives, I'm in a good spot.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I end up with hit crit after spending a calculate. I think you take what? You take a fuel leak,
and then I take a fuel leak on
Fen,
and then that's it.
Yeah. Then I score 2 to your 1, and it's 10-8, as I'm now learning that Zuvio is 4 points.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And most importantly, CAD is basically as safe as he can possibly be.
Yeah.
I move the Pro Droid out of the way in the next turn. I have priority again. So I am, for some reason, overly terrified that Fen is going to too hard or too bank and try and one-shot something. So I 2-straight my remaining Vulture and calculate. I move, DFS stays on the rock and calculates. I move the other Howard Charl off the rock. I see that it doesn't block the 5 straight, so I barrel roll to the left and calculate trying to get inside and shoot him. My non-Kraken carrier gunship bumps into a Vulture and doesn't take any damage. And then my Kraken carrier just does a 2 bank to the right and takes a calculate, hoping to shoot at where Fen is. But I just had a horrible feeling that I was going to get shot by Fen.
Yeah.
And then CAD does a 2 straight and claims that your home objective. It took him till turn 6, but he got there.
Fen thought you'd come a bit further in trying to get in on a 2 bank or 2 hard, so I attempted to 5 straight past and fails miserably. Han turns around the rock and takes a double calculate, and Dengar pops contraband, does a 3 bank over the rock, takes 2 damage, and claims your home objective.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the shooting begins.
I have no shots.
You have no shots. And basically, I get lucky and kill Fen. After a bunch.
I mean, yes and no. Like you put a hit and a crit through, it's a direct and the fuel leak kills him, but there were enough shots there that he probably should have died anyway. Although, amusingly, I believe it was the range 1 shot where he actually had Concordia.
I was like, did you forget Concordia?
No, I rolled focus, evade, blank.
Oh, okay.
And the crit I took was direct hit, which triggered the fuel leak.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I thought you rolled focus, evade, and I was like, wait.
One card, 3 damage.
Yeah.
But you still had, I believe, DFS's shot, so...
Yeah, I still had DFS's shell as well, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fen dies, I go up to 17 and you're on 9, and we basically call it there because... So, had you been able to claim the center next turn, I think you'd have played it out, because you never know. But you literally wouldn't be able to claim the center, because Dengar can't... Basically, Han can't get it fast enough, and Dengar's going around a rock again. So all I have to do is run away for 2 turns and I will win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what I was basically dialing in. I was like, he can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think from my side, it comes down to two specific mistakes and one general mistake. I think the two specific mistakes were not reversing Zuvio into CAD. I think that was the biggest mistake of the game. And then this turn, I shouldn't have sent Dengar over the top objective. I should have turned him in on your list.
Yeah.
Because scoring that objective netted me 1 point. But if I contraband, turned him in, focus rotated, locked rotated onto something, turned Fen in, turned Fen in as well, and killed something, that's more points in my favour, and I could definitely claim the centre next turn.
Yeah, and heck, even where Han maybe Han might not be able to get all the way there. It would have been close though. Next turn.
I mean, it's not stress, so full straight maybe.
Maybe but I'm trying to eye it up at the angles. Like maybe he gets in range,
but at least I've got something in the middle at that point.
Yeah.
And yes, you would have claimed 3, which would have put you on 18. But
no, because I might not have. If Fen had turned in and taken off focus, I may very well not have killed him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you may have.
Yeah.
But I also may have killed something else, and I'd then be in a position to maybe claim 3, claim 2.
Maybe claim 3, maybe claim 2. Take advantage of the fact that some of my ships are facing awkward directions because I was trying to block
and more importantly, pointing at CAD.
Yes, because CAD has 4 points in the bag that you can get.
Yeah. Like, would it have won me the game? I don't know, but
it would have come down to stuff. I don't know. We can and ah about it forever, right?
At least there would have been a chance.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
for me, it was the moment I realized your big ships were going far around that corner. I was like, I need to remove Zuvio and Fen, and then we can look at those big ships. It was like I got all the locks, and then I was like, I never shot them.
So I think I flew Han wrong because I was so concerned about doing blues to get rid of the strains. What I should have done is like Fen, he's 5 points, just treat him like a trade piece. Except that he's not going to roll any green dice. I should have hard turned him in between the debris and the rock near the centre objective way earlier.
Yeah. I really thought that was coming, and when it didn't, I was like, oh.
Yeah. I actually quite like...
I have so much space.
I quite like the list. Like,
I think it can work.
Like, fine. I trade out Zuvio for an actual 4-pointer, or the one thing I was umming and ahhing is you trade Dengar for Ketsu.
Yeah,
and then a 3-pointer.
Ooh, hard to say. I don't know. I feel like Talonbane would do you quite nicely in this list.
Yeah, Talonbane probably would.
Just Fen and Talonbane flying as a duo and be like, yo, range one-ers.
Yeah. Or even like, oh, I'll sit Talonbane at range 3. Sure, you can shell me, but I'm still getting my extra green.
Yeah.
Like, and then it'll probably take at least 2 or 3 shells to take him off the board, and then you're like, cool, 4 points.
Yeah.
Fen's probably blattered one of your ships at that point.
Yep. But from my perspective, my list, it's just solid.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah,
it does a bit of everything. Like, okay, yeah, was I a little greedy with Cat, but at the same time, it felt like I could be.
It worked, yeah.
Because he managed to pull your entire list into that corner at some point, basically.
What we need to do at some point on the podcast is cave and do the my Separatist list versus your Separatist lists and actually have a look. In fact, probably need to do a couple of games and actually have a look at how they go into each other. Yeah. So we somehow managed to avoid it.
Had Fen deployed opposite CAD, I wouldn't have tried what I tried this time. The only reason I tried it because I was like, I reckon he can sneak through Dengar and Han, but I didn't think I'd be able to sneak past the hammer on Fen because it's just too risky to take 5 dice.
Yeah.
But I thought I could take 3 twice.
That's fair.
3 to 4 twice.
And that's interesting.
Now, some may argue I shouldn't have been doing that to begin with. I should have just been like, cool, I've launched the thing. Don't decloak, turn to the middle and join the swarm. Because, a cloak with a focus, CAD's pretty safe.
Yeah. I mean, I get why you did, because it's
Yeah.
not like I had ships to go back down there, but yeah. Because although Zuvio could have hung around there with the reverses and stuff, he can't claim on those turns because
Yeah.
pattern analyze is the wrong step. So yeah, no, it's good.
What I probably, in hindsight, what I should have done was instead of boosting straight with CAD, I should have boosted to the right. And basically pointed myself slightly in, because the straight boost, I was basically going around the back of the rock. But if I boosted to the right, it at least presents my gun towards you and makes you think, oh, actually, there's a proton cannon.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
And that also might have helped me annoy Han into having to rotate his turret, or maybe you boost past me and then Han's in a different spot. But
yeah. And interestingly, actually, on that, what I should have done, talking about the two Talon, which I got away with Ben, in the sense of I didn't take damage, but then he was just in the wrong position. Or even, like, the 5k in hindsight would have been perfect. What I should have done was the 2 bank.
Yeah.
Because if I bumped, fine, I bump. Alright, I don't get Concordia.
Yeah.
I probably would have red focused, because I'm not risking the range 0 being double crit and because obviously no Concordia at range 0. But then I've got a 2 hard round the rock with, focus boost, much easier to get back in the fight.
Yeah. And also, let's say I go fast and CAD dodges you, fine, at least you're not stressed.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? Like, then I can turn around if needs be, depending on what you've done with the rest of your list. Yeah. And if you've gone fast, then Zuvio's reverse back and we'll get a shot into you. Yeah. So, yeah.
But I think that was just one of those calls that it could have gone either way, and it just happened that I...
Oh yeah, you called it perfectly.
Yeah.
But I'm just, from my point, I shouldn't have made that call an option, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Right, we will wrap it up there for this week, because it's pretty much all we've got to say about this one.
Quite a lot.
We'll be back next week with something. Who knows?
Probably Seps on Seps.
I mean, there's a good chance it'll be Seps on Seps. I've got like 3 different versions of the list I need to practice for STO, so I need to get the reps in.
And I just need to keep running this list and getting better with it.
That's fair. Actually, to be fair, if you keep running the same list, flying different variations will be a good test for me of putting it into the same list.
Maybe one day I'll try swapping out CAD, but he just works so
in that list. He works so well because you have enough ships that die that it's what you want. Right.
I do think it was very funny that it's like, oh, I've taken 2 damage. Well, yeet! Get in range of CAD. CAD needs an action.
Yeah. I should have spotted. That, but again, as I said at the time,
I was like,
what was the lesser of 2 evils? CAD dodges the mine, which I thought I could reverse round and sort, or Fen takes a shell, and I thought Fen taking the shell was the worst option.
I think you're right. You are right. So, it's just the
music,
yeah.
Right, we really will wrap it up now. So I'll just say, see you guys next week.
Yeah, ta-ta for now.